Hey guys, thanks so much for coming to watch this episode of Middle Ground. We actually have some behind the scenes footage on our Instagram that Ian shot.
Yes, I shot some behind the scenes stuff.
So exciting.
Yeah, a lot of people ask us how like sets go, how they're directed and all that. If you want to check it out, yeah, check out how Bonnie directed all these middle grounds on Instagram. And the handle is right here.
Go here.
Yeah. Anyways, enjoy the episode in the meanwhile.
Thanks guys.
Bye.
Do you have any idea how much the future of my life changed because of your decision in this moment? You altered the course of my life. I lost my older sister to a heroin overdose in 2015, and then two of my other siblings also struggle with addiction.
I was an addict for about 10 years, but now I work with so many people that are coming out of addiction in order to help those on either end, those that are struggling with family members that have addictions or addicts themselves.
I am a mom of 3 children who went to private school, and I was a heavily addicted woman on top of it.
I am an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic. I have been sober for over a year now. A lot of people think it's a choice and it's something that we just don't want to stop doing. However, it's a lot deeper than that.
I am a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. You know, you never know what you put somebody through. You only know what you feel.
So my dad is an alcoholic. It'll be good to hear a perspective from the other side and how it kind of affects them and how they feel about it.
Hey guys, I'm Morgan. I live in Los Angeles and I run a creative agency.
I'm Rocky, and I live in Hawaii, and I work with computers.
My name is Derek. I live in Los Angeles. I work at the Orange County Rescue Mission as a program director.
My name is Christiana. I'm 22 and I'm a college student.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm 27 and I work as a banker.
Hi, I'm Abra. I'm not going to give my age. I live in LA and I produce a film festival.
So if I can get my addicts to the left and my loved ones to the right. Addiction is selfish.
I do think addiction is selfish. I don't think that it's by choice selfish, but I think you don't want people to really see everything that you're kind of going through or what your situation is. And so it's a very isolating disease, and therefore you feel like you're all by yourself and you can only rely on yourself.
I don't know that addiction is selfish, but I know that as an addict, I was very selfish. I thought of myself and the drugs or the alcohol first and foremost, and I would push aside or step over whoever was in my way to get them.
I guess I find that there's a danger to just labeling it like addiction is selfish. I think it's dangerous to do that. If you step back and you kind of have to separate it, because there's people who start with prescription and it just, the doctors knew it was dangerous and they did it anyway kind of thing. And I don't think it's fair to label that person who's now addicted to pain meds. That is not selfish. That's they kind of got screwed over, if that makes sense.
I feel resentment towards the other side.
Just me. There's been so many instances of my dad, going on his week-long benders, and since I got out of high school, it seems like it gets worse every single time. We'll have to get in the car and hide from him, or we'll have to run up the street and call the cops on him, and just every time it seems like it gets worse. I just have a lot of built-up anger and resentment towards my dad. It doesn't mean I don't love him any less or I don't feel any different about him. It's just...
If you had talked to me 2 years ago, I would have been up here with you.
Yeah.
And the only reason I changed my perspective is because I lost her. And it just kind of, I went and educated myself about it and learned all this stuff. I'm not going to judge anyone for feeling resentment but I personally can't anymore.
Coming from an addict and then being on the loved one side, I can see and understand that. So the resentment is no longer there. It's more of a pity and a compassion and a heart to help them because I know the struggle that they're going through.
The resentment I hold, it isn't even for myself, it's for my mom. Because the way that he treats my mom when he's drunk is like a completely different story from the way he still treats me bad, but my mom is like a different story, and he's just very, very angry and scary towards her. So the resentment I hold is for the way that he treats my mom.
Cutting ties with a loved one with addiction is okay.
There's only like so much that somebody, I think, can do. We do everything we can to help somebody, right? Like in a situation like this, like send them to rehab. And I've had to do it where like kids will call me and they keep going out. They keep doing stuff, they keep lying, and they're incapable of being honest. I think it comes to a point where it hurts both of those people more to not draw a line and be like, look, I'm here if you want it, but I can't keep being a part of this shit.
In my addiction long ago, the turning point in my life was when my sister had to walk away from me when she would no longer offer me help. That was a turning point for me because I recognized, okay, that was it for me. I had no one else, nowhere else to go, no one else that would provide for me. So that began my upward climb, if you will.
I remember when my parents saw me get arrested, my brother told me that my mom went home and she just laid on the floor. My mom is not an emotional person at all, and she just laid on the floor crying. And so that to me is saying, one, I have a problem and I'm hurting the people around me. You know, it's draining and it affects them so much. So yeah, I definitely think that cutting ties is necessary to save yourself.
Addicts must hit rock bottom in order to truly get better.
March 16th, 1999 was the time where that was a rock bottom for me, you know, where I was facing 19 years and I couldn't do 19 years. So that was my rock bottom, and I had to cry out to God and ask, like, Lord, I need something different. And if you get me out of this, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And yeah, I still had to do time, but my life changed from that point forward.
Because with my dad, so many times, you know, every time he goes on his bender and, you know, whatever happens, me and my mom are like, okay, this has to be it. Like, he can't, like, obviously he'll come out of this, like, he'll go back to AA. Like, every time we think it's like his rock bottom and then it's not. So I'm like, what is it actually gonna take for him to, you know, think about what he's doing and go back to AA for that?
I don't think you must hit rock bottom to want to recover. And I know many people who have hit rock bottom, but that still did not make them want to be sober. For me, the first time I had a DUI, you know, that could have been considered my rock bottom, but I wasn't out of ideas. But then the second time was more like, okay, it just clicked something in me. But this time I was like, I cannot continue to live like this.
But I think in a sense that is kind of a rock bottom.
That is a rock
where
bottom.
in your heart, you can't do it anymore. Like that is your, you know, slap in the face, like change it.
You're right, everybody has a different bottom, but the concept of a rock bottom, I think, is like you're homeless, you know, you're in the hospital, you're 5150'd, like you lose everything. For me, I had been in treatment, I had been in sober living, but I still made it, you know, it still got worse.
So what made you come to that place where you decided, okay, I want something different?
I wanted to live and I wanted to have my kids in my life, you know.
Yeah. I think one of the worst things that we can do is continue to enable anybody. If we love somebody enough, we will do whatever is necessary in order for them to get well. And what I mean by that is, if we have to take things away, if we have to call the cops on them, to me, that's love.
Well, my question with that is how you're talking about, you know, it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to get, you know, that out of it. It's like, well, how do you know if you know you're doing the right thing? So it's like, you don't let them come back in the house or stuff like that. It's like, well, how do you know that's just not gonna make their situation worse? And
It will.
Yeah, it will.
But it's like,
It will make it worse.
if they're dealing with like, mental health issues, and it's just so bad for them that they think, the only way is, to kill themselves.
It's also not your responsibility.
Yeah.
I know, but it's like, say we were to kick my dad out and that's what would happen, I would never forgive myself for that. You know what I mean? So it's like hard finding like, is this gonna make it better or is it gonna make it worse? Because it could go either way,
But your decision now is not making anything better. What the present is not better, because you can't want it more than he can want it for himself, regardless of whether you keep him in or kick him out.
I don't think the other side understands my experience.
Me working at the mission, I know that it's a lot of people that have the mentality, why don't they just stop? Because I talk with a lot of parents of people that are coming through, well, why don't they just quit? They're hurting us or they're destroying the family and they just won't stop. And that's just because they don't understand the addiction. They don't understand that if that person could quit or stop, they would.
I've never felt comfortable a day in my life, like ever, until I was started to drink and do drugs, right? I look at people and they are just down the street and they're happy and they're doing shit and they're super normal. And that's all I ever wanted, and I could never get that until I found drugs and alcohol, and it works against you. So it's a constant challenge every day, full of guilt and shame and feeling uncomfortable.
When I was younger, I thought it was just that my sisters didn't care about me, and now I think it's just that they had no idea whatsoever what they were actually putting me through. Yeah. Especially when I was very, very young. It changed my whole family structure. Her kids had to come live with us. And as a 5-6-year-old, that's really confusing. So my family went from 6 to 10 overnight, and we had to move across the country and all this stuff. And it's do you have any idea how much the future of my life changed because of your decision in this moment? You altered the course of my life. And I think a lot of people, especially ones with loved ones who are addicted, are trying really hard to see your side, and I feel sometimes people just dismiss us.
Again, like you were saying, we always focus on the addict. The addict needs to get help. The addict needs to get to rehab. The addict. You are as much in the addiction as the addict, because you're in their sphere, you're in their lifestyle, you're trying to constantly save them. I definitely do want to emphasize that as much as I need help, that my family also does need just as much help as I do.
That's the part I feel you guys don't understand, is you guys kill us. Not you guys, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll take
addicts,
it.
Addicts kill us inside. No, I'm sorry. I don't know how else to phrase it. It's addiction is just it rips apart our life and our family and everything. And a lot of times it works out. People go to rehab and it's all over, whatever. But then there's the times where it's not, and the weird part is okay, I'll put up with all the crap, just bring her back to life, Yeah. So.
I would like to think that my dad understands me and how I feel, but at the same time I don't. And I feel this is true for a lot of people on the other side. It's you don't want to tell the person that's going through it how it makes you feel inside, because I know that my dad already feels very, very low of himself, so it's I don't want to tell him this has caused me a lot of emotional trauma and anxiety throughout my life, and I'd like to think that he understands me, but I know that I don't tell him how I feel, how it truly makes me feel.
Why?
Because I don't want to hurt him more. I don't want him to feel really down, and he also deals with depression, so I don't want him to think, oh, I've caused all this trauma to my daughter, and do something. Or.
But sitting them down in a proper setting, that could be a wake-up call for him, him to hear it from you of how it's making him feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not aware entirely. Yeah. It's taken me a while to become more and more aware of the damage that I did to my children, and I want them to tell me.
Recovery is possible.
recovery, not only is it possible, but it does make your life so much better.
And the lives of people around
and
you.
the lives of people around you, absolutely. So
In all actuality, being sober is like the greatest thing that has ever happened to me.
yeah.
It really is the great. I remember the first time I ever fucking laughed for real. Like I remember the first time I all that shit like that just numbs for years and years and years, and all this stuff comes back, and you have a personality again, and you have a life again, and you have like relationships again, and you have all these things that like make life worth living.
I mean, I believe it's definitely possible, and I hope, it is for my dad sometime in the near future, before he, gets liver disease too, or, before anything really bad happens.
As long as there's breath, there's hope.
Yes.
Yes.
As long as there's breathing, there's an opportunity for, recovery, for, newness of life, So we just have to hold on to that.
I'm so glad you were here.
Yeah.
Can I do? Hopefully everyone's okay with hugs.